what's with all the noise down there?
Mom, I'm podcasting the story of the Venture Brothers!
Death 13.
Nobody cares about the Venture Brothers.
People care!
Well, just be quiet.
All right, fine! People really need to know this stuff. All right, here we go.
The following video contains spoilers. Do not continue watching unless you have finished Season 7. I mean it. Don't you fucking dare. Can I just say thanks for the positive feedback on my Scare Bear video. It really means a lot. For those of you who haven't seen it, there's a link down in the description below. Some things to add real quick. This guy at the end of Season 7, Episode 10, could this guy actually be an older Hank? Whether through time travel or maybe a previous Hank clone that somehow survived this long? Also, I have a feeling that Hank's next arc will be focused on him trying to find his mother, Bobby St. Simone, who apparently left Doc, moving to another town and changing her name because he was too clingy. I hope she's blonde like Hank. Anyways, on to the main article. Doc, Rusty Venture, and the Monarch. I gotta say, I feel a bit like Billy Quizboy in the first Orb episode, panning over an entire series for clues to put together this amazing mystery.
Wait, I've done it!
Ugh, congratulations, you've discovered pornography.
Why does Malcolm the Monarch have such a seething hatred for Doc? Let's look at the facts before we speculate. We know that the Monarch and Dr. Venture were together during part of their childhood thanks to this picture found in Rusty's scrapbook. Notice the Monarch crying over what appears to be a toy car that shares the same color scheme the Monarch will later use in life to arch Rusty. Speaking of the Monarch persona, you might recall back in Season 3 where it was revealed that Malcolm specifically designed this persona for the sole intent of arching Rusty starting in college. I mean, the man tried to blow him up in an explosion. Surely this hatred was formed during their childhood. Maybe Rusty bullied him when they were children. Or maybe the Monarch resented Rusty for being a child star who was famous and popular, going on crazy adventures all the time. Some people even point out the fact that it's Venture tradition to piss on the graves of recently dead friends and family, you know, along with the youngest taking a dump on the grave.
Old friend, hope you're happy in your new resting place.
Okay, who's the youngest?
Don't look at me.
Dean, son, we need you over here.
Oh, you're gonna love this.
Maybe the Monarch witnessed Doc taking a dump on his father or mother's grave. Who knows?
Don't look at me.
Whatever the reason, we can believe that the Monarch has had this grudge since they were children. The Monarch's weird dream in the Rourke Reel affair all but confirms this.
Come on! Join me!
Are you kidding? It's freezing. Do this alone, you jackass.
Oh, you were never there for me.
You were never there for me. Maybe it wasn't Rusty who bullied the Monarch, but rather Rusty who didn't interact with him at all. Maybe he was cold to him, gave him an intense feeling of unwant and isolation. Whatever the reason, we know that the Monarch lost his memory of his childhood after the plane crash, probably due to the plane crash.
Dr. Venture, playing! Wee! Fun! Yay! And who's that in the background? Oh, nobody. Just my parents!
Yes, fine, that's nuts. Can we talk about this later?
I don't remember any of this!
Speaking of the plane crash, doesn't that feel a bit off? I mean, I think there's some foul play going on here. It's Venture Bros. You can never really take everything they give you at first glance. Anyways, I can see the Monarch's hatred of Rusty causing him to become a supervillain. I mean, Doc almost ended up arching JJ thanks to Killinger and his extreme envy of JJ. I don't think the Monarch even remembers exactly why he hates Dr. Venture. The Monarch is cool with Doc being his best man at his wedding and even chooses not to kill him when given the chance. I think a lot of the story of the Monarch is going to be him remembering the things he forgot because of the plane crash. Another thing I believe is Rusty and Malcolm are going to become friends. When I see this clip of Doc saying, Malcolm?
Malcolm?
It's almost as if that Doc is from a future where
Malcolm?
The Monarch and Dr. Venture are friends. I mean, he doesn't say it in a bad way. It's kind of just surprised to see his friend in such an odd place, but I guess that's just my opinion.
Malcolm?
We all remember seeing Rusty say Malcolm in Season 7, Episode 1, so we know that Doc remembers Malcolm, but sadly we don't know the details. But I've put together sort of a timeline to help me get my thoughts more in order. Maybe it'll help you guys too. So first up, I think the Monarch was born first. He's the son of Jonas and the Blue Morpho's wife, and the reason I think that he was born first is because we see a lot of Kano and Rusty throughout the show. Like a oddly large amount of Kano and Rusty together, and we know that Kano only joined Team Venture after the birth of Malcolm. Now next up, whether it's because of a stolen toy car, a shit on a grave, or a sibling rivalry, we know that Malcolm began to dislike Rusty when they were kids. We know that the parents bring their kids to the compound a lot. We especially see this in the Dr. Quim episode, where it shows a young Dr. Quim and Rusty during a swingers party hanging out with Kano in the basement. We also have the picture of Rusty and Malcolm as kids, and I like to think that this is where the hatred for Dr. Venture was formed. Next, we have the plane crash. After the plane crash, I believe Malcolm loses most of his memory, and this is where he gets his love of butterflies and gains his inheritance, as he said in the very first episode of the show. Somewhere along the line after this event, I feel like maybe he sees the Rusty Venture show on TV, and it maybe brings back his memory and fills him with this forgotten hate that he used to have that he forgot about.
You abandoned me! You abandoned my hatred!
I have got all back.
Look into my eyes!
He begins arching Rusty starting in college, and he just keeps on going from there. Even when the Monarch is henching for other villains, he still continues to moonlight arch Dr. Venture on the side. Doc doesn't recognize him because he's in costume, and we know this because he never once says Malcolm until seeing him out of costume for the first time in Season 7, Episode 1. Fast forward to present day. He chooses not to kill Rusty in the finale, and I don't think he ever really wanted to kill him deep down. I think he just wanted him to suffer greatly. I mean, he lets him escape when he has him captured in Season 5. He just lets him go after hearing how sad and pathetic his life is. It's almost as if he has nothing more to envy because he realizes that Dr. Venture's life is so terrible, it doesn't even really matter. Deep down, I think the Monarch knows that there's more to him and Rusty than just what he can remember. At the end, they both find out that they're related, and that's where we are now. Nobody knows what will happen next. Except me. They're probably going to reconcile. I mean, it'll probably start off rocky, but the Monarch and Rusty will eventually become friends, because they have a lot more in common than they think, because they are the Venture Bros. Sadly, there isn't much more information that I can pull from the show. If anybody has any other clues to help support the claim of what's actually going on between Rusty and the Monarch, why he hates Dr. Venture so much, and what's going to happen going into the future, please leave a comment below. I try to answer all the comments you guys leave on my videos because I really appreciate them, and this is hands down my favorite show of all time. That being said, I mean, I know this is going to get solved as soon as Season 8 starts. It's just, oh god, 2.5 years until Season 8 starts probably. With that, I'll catch you guys later. Shoots.
Well, what is this?
Good guys against the bad guys. We're winning.
Why are you on the bad guy's side?
Because Phantom Limb left in a huff. Mostly because we're winning.